Oh, for oh, nah, just lob it in a tree. Right, and we're back on a bank and we're fishing. You join me on a new venue. I've not been there before. I'm down on Avalon, which is a little carp fishery in Somerset. It's actually near Glastonbury, or I think that's the closest biggish town anyway. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare getting here. We've pretty much only just got set up. The roads were absolutely manic today. It is a Friday and the roads were absolute carnage. It's meant to take about an hour. I think it took closer to about an hour and 45. It really did take a long time. I ended up leaving late anyway because I was looking after my lad today and had to wait for my other half to finish work. So she didn't finish till 4. By the time I'd got everything loaded up and said bye and all that stuff and actually got here, yeah, we didn't have too much time. So everything's now sorted, got a bit of food on, got a tin of cider in my hand, so everything's nice at the moment. But it's quite a nice little lake, very busy. The reason we've come here, I've not been fishing day tickets this year, and the reason we've come here is because I'm actually with Ollie, not with Hugh, and Ollie hasn't got any tickets on any of the syndicates I fish. So we've come down to a day ticket. It's very, very last minute, so we pretty much had to just see what was available. As I'm sure you all know, it's absolutely mental trying to find anywhere with availability day ticket wise. So this had a few pegs free. I think I had about 4 pegs free, and yeah, we ended up picking 2. So we actually chose swims 2 and 3. But the guy in swim 1 had to go home, so Ollie's actually dropped into swim 1, which has got a nice bit of safe bank, and then I've got into swim 2, which is basically bang in front of the island. So I've kept everything simple. I'm literally just fishing 2 rods straight across to the far side on the island, and I'm fishing just solid bags. I've actually brought a little actor bait boat with me today so I can get nice and tight and accurate to that far side. There's a good bit of depth over there underneath the overhanging trees. So what I've done is just basically driven it into the bank and then dropped the bait. So it's fishing really tight up to that far bank. I've not put out a lot of freebies with it, maybe like a handful of bait. Over one I put a little bit of corn and hemp and pellet, and a few of the DNA bug in 12mm, and then over the other one I've just put a handful of the DNA pellet, 4mm pellet, both on solid bags, both on bright hook basic. One's on white and I think one's on orange, which would be a milky malt and a fruitilicious, and that is it. So nice and simple. Ollie's in number 1, he's fishing up to a nice bit of a snag tree. He's actually decided to drop one short in the margin because I think a lot of people probably fish out towards islands, so he's tried to go against the grain and just drop one really close in just to see if that does anything. He has put a little bit of bait out over this rod near a snag tree just on the off chance that they want a bit of food. So you know, we're kind of covering the option, so if they're in the mood for a bit of a feed, hopefully we should have one. Now, I've heard a lot of stuff online today about fish starting to spawn, and although there's been a couple of fish looking a little bit pairing up, I'm hoping they don't kick off and start spawning in the night. But fingers crossed they don't get jiggy, because that would be a bit of a killer, and obviously I'm not going to fish for spawning fish. So hopefully they're in the mood for some food and we'll have something to show you. But I'm going to sit back, I'm going to have my food because it smells like it's starting to burn, and drink a nice tin of fruity cider, and hopefully at some point we'll have a fish. Right, as you can see, it's well and truly dark now. It's about 11:30, 12 o'clock-ish. I basically just tied up a couple of spare solid bags, so I didn't have any barbless rigs tied up, because on here it's mechanically barbless or manufactured barbless, whatever it is, rigs only. So basically they have to be barbless out the packet. You're not allowed to like crush a micro barb down or anything like that. Now, I pretty much use micro barbs for all my fishing because a lot of the venues I fish, you're allowed them, and I think they do less damage because they can't move as much personally. But on here it is a barbless only rule, so I've tied up about 4 or 5 rigs with some hook baits and That gives me a couple of spare rigs ready to go, and then I've tied up two solid bags ready to cast out, or well, ready to put out with the boat, so they're all ready to go. Now obviously the reason I'm doing this is A, I've been getting a few liners, so I'm feeling confident I might get a take, and B, if I do get a take in the early hours, the last thing I want to be doing is messing around trying to tie a solid bag up when I'm half asleep. Obviously I want to try and get a rod back out on the spot as quick as possible, so you know, effort does equal reward. Get prepped, get things ready before you get in your bag, because even if you don't feel like you're going to get a fish, you know, to be fair, you should always feel like you're going to get a fish. If you're not fishing confidently, then you're probably doing something wrong. So you should always feel like you're in with a chance, which means you should be well prepared, ready for when that bite comes. So yeah, I've just tied up a couple of spare rigs, couple of spare bags ready to go. So hopefully one of them goes tearing off. But anyway, right, that's that done. So I'm going to just tidy up, and then I'm going to get in the bag, hopefully to be woken up by a scaly old carp. So right, that's that done. I guess I will see you guys in the morning, or if not, maybe I'll see you in the early hours with a nice chunky carp, but fingers crossed it goes tanking off. Well, morning then. So it's about 10 o'clock now. Unfortunately, it was a very quiet night. Ollie thinks he might have had a bit of an aborted take. Could have been a big liner, he's not too sure, but he did sort of get woken up in the night, and unfortunately had nothing there. But yeah, it's been very slow on the fishing front. It's really warm today. I've had to open up all the vents on the bivvy, try and get a bit of airflow. Even like this morning at about 7 o'clock, it was pretty humid and warm. There's been a couple of fish sort of not spawning as such, but definitely getting very close. I wouldn't be just surprised if this afternoon they do start having a spawn, but at the moment I've not seen any sign of it. So I've got a few hours left. We've only got the ticket till midday, so I brought the rods in, got them round and used the toilet facilities, and I'm now going to redo the rods and just put out 2 zigs. I'm going to fish one 6 foot, which I think is going to be thereabouts just below the surface, and I'm going to fish another one maybe about 4 or 5 foot, and just fish those for the next couple of hours before packing up. I'm going to get them out, and then I'm going to pack all the kit down, get it on the barrow so that we're ready to go, and hopefully we can nail one on an opportunist zig. So I'm going to put pure black on one, which is going to be the 6 footer. I'm just using a standard leg clip, and then I've got a long anti-tangle sleeve just to kick it away, and 4 ounce of lead. I always use big leads, and a little size 8 hook on there, and that is literally going to be the zig. So we'll see what happens. Before I put it out, I'm going to put a little bit of foam on the rig just to stop any tangles, and yeah, hopefully we can get a couple of fish. But that's going to be the tactic for the next sort of hour and a half, 2 hours before we go. So Ollie's going to stay on the bottom, so hopefully one of us can nick a bite before we have to go. But it is looking a bit bleak, I'm not going to lie. I think we're really scratching for a bite at the moment, but I've not heard of anyone catching anything, so it's definitely fishing very slow. And yesterday the only fish that got caught was a guy that had one off the top, quite an opportunist little bite. So yeah, it's looking a bit slow, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can have one. Right, just to get the cast right then, I'm going to just flick the rod out the rig first. Oh, for that's a lot shorter than that looked. Oh, no. It's only a lead. Where's that got caught? Yeah. At least I ain't got a rig on it. I literally thought I'll cast it out, clip it up. Nah, just f***ing lob it in a tree. Oh, great. Right, well the first cast went straight in a tree. Oh, ow! Put it in the bank now. Right, that's come off. That really isn't that far at all. Well, it's a bit further than that, but it's probably a bit further than that. I'm not even trying to fish it tight, that's the thing. Yeah, sorted. Right, that's the first dig out on the spot. Right, just flicking out rod 2. This one's on a bit of red and black. Right, and so the kit's loaded in the van. Unfortunately we didn't have anything. The fish have actually just started to spawn, which I thought was going to happen, so we've packed up a bit earlier and we're going to get on the road. I am actually going to probably go somewhere else just to see if we can fish the afternoon somewhere, and I'll film that in a separate video, so keep your eyes peeled for that one in case it does happen. But unfortunately, yeah, nothing's happened, but it was nice to get out on the bank with Ollie. It was definitely hard conditions. Like I said, the fish have clearly got spawning on the brain, as it looked like they might yesterday, but they didn't, but they have started to this morning. So it's what it is, isn't it? They have to get it out of the way at some point, so best to leave them to it. I'm not going to fish for spawning fish, so we're going to get on the road, try a couple of lakes on the way back just to see if anywhere's fishable just for the afternoon, and hopefully we can get a few fish later on this afternoon. But hopefully you like the video. Unfortunately it didn't have any fish in it, but when they're thinking of other things you can't do much about that. So thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new, give it a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and see you back out on the bank again soon. If you're getting out, be lucky. Oh for oh, nah, just lob it in a tree.